This is Out Loud and Laughing
in partnership with Outright International.
What is up, Chosen fam? Welcome back to the studio. Look, we all have those childhood core memories that shaped who we are. For a lot of us, it was a street where the air was sweet and the neighbors happened to be giant talking felt masterpieces. Today, we are sitting down with a woman who didn't just grow up watching that magic. She went out and helped make it. She's an Emmy-nominated producer, a legendary Muppet coordinator, a genius digital creator who's capturing the absolute chaos of Gen X existentialist crisis on TikTok, and an activist who's out, proud, and fighting for queer visibility on a global scale. Chosen fam, please put your mitts together for the incredible, the brilliant Jen Capra. Hey, Jen.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Living the dream.
Good. Yes, Jen, we are so incredibly thrilled to have you on the pod. But before we get into the Muppets of it all and the TikTok viral fame, we just want to hang out for a second because our Chosen fam is meeting you for the first time probably, right? So we know you're a proud New Yorker, living the NYC life, but take us back to early Jen. Where did you grow up? What was the vibe of young Jen before entertainment world came calling?
Sure. Baby Jen was growing up a weird little hyperlexic poor kid in Boston. Of course, being raised partially by Sesame Street. So it felt like destiny that I was heading in this direction. Learning my letters and numbers and words from these Muppets and just being completely taken with them and fascinated by them from a very young age. I grew up around the Boston area and actually ended up finishing when I graduated high school. The area is like close to where the World Cup is being played out there now. So it's a very odd area where you have like football players practicing part of the year in your high school area. It's a weird place to grow up. But great to have that access of like, being as close to Boston as Providence. And in the 90s, as some of us of a certain age remember, we had access to clubs that perhaps they should not have been allowing, but it was like 16 and up, which meant 16-year-olds, but like also grown, like college age people. I don't know. So we danced a lot. We spent a lot of time between those spots in Boston and Providence, getting into trouble and, going on adventures. That's, that's the PG version of that. And then I ended up moving to New York City when I was 19, with my girlfriend at the time. And we had an apartment way uptown. We lived in Washington Heights. And a fun thing that I've pieced together now is that we were there for the blackout summer that In the Heights is written about. And again, piecing it all together, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote that blocks from where we lived because he also lived in the neighborhood, obviously, and he was home from college. And she and I were just a couple of ragtag kids moving to the city and getting a job and whatever. But we were there for that blackout. And then to see it like in theater or whatever. And then for me, my career, I end up working with him on the electric company. And he has done music for Sesame Street and our music director that did both. They were college roommates. So just the convergences, life is just so weird sometimes. But yeah, when I lived in Washington Heights, I worked at a bookstore in the West Village. Again, perfect time and place to be in the 90s with a fake ID and nobody paying attention to what you were doing. So, frequenting all of the gay clubs, all of the bars, having the best time a 19-year-old can have in New York in the 90s. And because I worked at that bookstore, I actually had one of my jobs was I had to send John Gotti his books in prison through the post office. So his people would order them through me in my little basement of the bookstore. And then I would have to walk up to the West Village post office and stand in line with John Gotti's books because you couldn't ship them directly any other way. They couldn't go through like any other services. That has to be USPS. And one of those days I was in line behind John Cryer and I was just like, it's Ducky. This is the best day of my life. I'm living all my 80s dreams. It's like working my terrible basement job. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun back then.
I would lose at every game or round of Two Truths and a Lie that you and I would play.
So true.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, That sounds like a lie. Like if we were playing
Right.
this game, like I'm putting myself in that space right now. I'm like,
Yes.
well, that I can't tell if it's that one or if that's she. I don't know. Your life sounds too cool already. So
The funny thing is, I get that a lot, like to the point that I got to the point when people would ask me what I did for work, like in a new environment, I would just preface it by saying, this is going to sound like a lie.
Yeah.
This is going to sound fake.
Yeah.
But, it's like, okay, today I'm going to go to set and go hang out with Muppets. That's a real thing I'm doing.
I mean, that's the beauty of New York City, right? Because like all these fun stories. But yeah, I completely agree with John. Jen, like playing with you would be unfair because you would say your three truths or your two truths and a lie would be like, oh, actually it wasn't USPS, it was FedEx, and you'd be like, oh,
Right.
fuck off.
So true. So true. Wait, I have a quick follow up on that because because I can only imagine telling somebody what you do like that. It always sort of spins off into some conversation. If you're not in the mood to talk, is there like a job that you just tell somebody that you are, like work for the IRS or like an attorney or something?
That's what I really need to do. I mean, the silver lining of my current situation is, so like things have been really tough. It's really tough for writers right now. And so one of my side gigs that I've been doing is I'm a dog sitter.
Yeah.
Mm.
I sit pets. And actually we moved out of the city a couple of years ago now. So I'm upstate, although anyone in the region will be like, that's not actually upstate.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're outside of the city. Enough that one of the families that I sit for, they also have sheep. So I now care for wildlife and domesticated, farm animals. And so I'll just use that instead. Like, what do you do? I'm a dog sitter. It's very boring.
I love it. I'm a sheep sitter. I can't even.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Give them hay. It's fine.
Everything's fine. Listen, you have such a vibrant, multi-person, passionate energy from directing, coordinating Muppets, sheep sitting. You're making people laugh. You're making people laugh on social media. And so I'm just curious, when you were trying to figure out your path, right? Boston to New York, New York to wherever, did you always know you wanted to be in television? Was entertainment sort of natural to you? Or did you have a wild alternative universe in your head? Were you thinking like corporate accountant? I mean, any of the other two truths and a lie that you want to throw in there? I mean, literally.
As my high school math teacher floats into the ether hearing this, like, yeah, no, girl.
So great. So great.
No, like for me, I was always that like so I'm an only child and an introvert who grew up a latchkey kid. So like being solitary is my default setting. I do very well in a quiet environment. Lockdown, heaven.
Yeah.
You couldn't have told me anything. I was living my best life. I went outside to walk the dog. That was it. And like you would see other dog people across the park and like wave.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I was living my best life. And when I was a kid, I would like sit with my mom's typewriter and like make up newspapers and just write stories and fill books. I always knew I wanted to be a writer. And I never really thought about it. It's like one of those things, like you realize as you get older, like, oh, right, everything around you involved humans. It was a job for somebody. Everybody does something. You watch TV, people make that. Like you watch movies, people made those. That's just people. And so along the way, it was like, oh, that's a job that I could do, I guess. Like that's wild. I was just thinking like very literally writing pen to paper. Like but then what do you do with it? So when I ended up finishing college out on the West Coast in Olympia, Washington, which also, to add to the two truths and a lie game, Kurt Cobain's sister was my bartender. She's fantastic. And then one day when I had moved back to New York City, I ran into her in front of Henrietta Hudson's in line trying to get in. And she was like, come with me. And she had like a Camelback thing that she had made in the back of her car that they had. And she was like pouring me her drinks that she had pre-mixed. I was like, oh, I'm in heaven, Kim. You've transported me.
That's the lie, John. That's the lie.
Okay.
The lie would be like what was in the pouch. Was
right.
It was it a
wearing
Cape
yellow.
Codder? Right. Or was it whiskey sours? You'll never know.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So I went to school out there. And then after graduation, I was like, I'm done. West Coast, is not my vibe. I'm a very direct person. I need to be around my people so that everyone doesn't take my directness as aggression, where it's like, if I were being aggressive, you would know. Like
Same.
I would just tell you if I didn't like you, you know? But that the culture is different. So I was very much ready to come home. And when I moved back to the East Coast and I was back in New York City, it was like, of course, the traditional cliche of like, be a barista first for a while, going on interviews, trying to get that big girl job. And one of the first like serious jobs I got, I was a personal assistant to a woman who worked in children's entertainment, like in a company that like controls properties. So it's not like Disney or something like that, but it was like they would take things that you're familiar with. Like, you know, those like the Mr. Men books where it's like Little Miss,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
little
So like
dots and
that was one of the properties. And like the Eric Carle, like Very Hungry Caterpillar,
Well,
like that. So they worked with his estate. And so like they would work with different companies to then be like, oh, well, can we make this an animation? Can we make this a show? Can we do more books? And so I worked for that woman. And that was really like my way into children's media
Yep.
in that way. And so I was like running her life, basically, doing like the Devil Wears Prada assistant job. And through that, I met some really amazing script people, writers that I didn't realize until like 10 years later, like, oh, you were a writer on this thing. And now we write together. That's crazy. Like, I didn't even clock that that was the same person because we never saw each other face to face, you know? But that was a good introduction into the script world. Whereas, like, I'm classically trained, I'm a nerd. I was writing like historical fiction, doing deep dives and deep research and, you know, working with these mentors and professors that were like nominated for um, these insane awards. And so coming from that very high-minded ivory tower academia, you know, and like in my heart, I'm like, yeah, I'm a poor kid from Boston, but I'm still from Boston, you know, like that, that academia is like so ingrained in you that like,
Yes.
you know, it's like that, it's part of the culture that everyone has an expansive vocabulary. Like even the guy breaking rocks down in the quarry can pull out a 50-cent word, drop of a hat. Like you're entrenched in it growing up there. And so it was just that adjustment of like, oh, TVs and scripts and this other type of writing may be a path. Like this may be something that you are good at. It may be something you enjoy. Like, so step one, learn how it works. You know, see how the sausage is made, help organize the things, see how the bits and pieces move. And then the whole time trying to kind of wrangle my way up that ladder of like, you know, here's your coffee. By the way, I'm a writer. You know, I took notes in the meeting. By the way, I have a script.
Yeah.
You know, and starting that hustle kind of as soon as possible. And the great thing was that that allowed me to meet people who, you know, if they see that you're competent and they see that you're smart and they see that you know how to do stuff, they want to bring you on other jobs. You know, so I start out as this assistant, and then a woman that I met on that job was like, look, this job is not a good time. Like it's killing you. You know, you have to be awake for all time zones all the time. It's Is the pay really worth it? Because what I think you should do is come with me and go over to this kids puppet show that I work on called Johnny and the Sprites for Disney. And it's awesome. And the people are awesome. And I can get you in like entry level. And I did it like leap of faith. I was like, I'll take the pay cut, no insurance. I ain't got no kids. Like, okay, like let's do this. And so I went in as a PA on that show. And that's where I met, you know, John Tartaglia, who it was so funny. Like for part of it, I was his assistant for part of it, and I was a PA for part of it. And I wore a lot of hats on that. But he and I are the same age. So it was like this kind of sibling relationship of me having to wrangle him as his assistant, but also being like able to yell at him and be like, you need to get up when your alarm goes off, sir. Did you walk the dog yet?
That's
you
so
know,
funny. Yeah.
And really like having that amazing introduction to the puppet world and realizing that, oh, that show shares a bunch of its puppeteers with Sesame Street that shoots in the same studio right down the hall. We also share the same crew. so it was all this overlap of people that I got to meet,
Mm-hmm.
a decade before I was ever on set with them at Sesame Street. It was
Wow.
amazing. It was a very
What a great story.
circuitous route.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into the Sesame Street of it all, Jen. But for our listeners, we actually got to first cross paths with you recently, though. We want to we know Jen a little bit, guys. We met her at Outright International Gala, which was such an incredible night. We talked about it. The theme this year
Absolutely.
was everyone, everywhere, which was beautiful actually because it comes at a pretty, I don't know, heavy time. We talked about it briefly at the gala with so much money being stripped away from global LGBT, IQ movements, and the frontline organizations are literally all at risk. And Outright did so well that night monetarily. I feel like the energy in that room gives me like, I don't know, hope.
Yes.
But obviously in talking to you, it made John and I think about the word courage, right? So, not we want to get into the Sesame Street of it all, but you are a queer woman, right? So like that also adds more complexity in any sort of job and career that John and I also experience. So what does courage look for you right now, like as queer people, as we present ourselves in the world?
Yeah, I think we talked about a little bit about this when we first met
Yeah.
at the gala. It's like it sounds so simple and it sounds almost trite, but at a time like this when the stakes just keep heightening and the danger keeps ratcheting up and rights are getting stripped away, sometimes the bravest thing we can do is just exist. Sometimes showing up as yourself unapologetically and using your voice, using your platform, coming together like this, that is courageous. It is in a landscape that does not want us to talk. It wants us to shut up. It wants us to go away and disappear and go, be bullied back into the shadows. And, it didn't work on me in the 90s and it's not going to work on me now. Like, I'm sorry. If getting gay bashed on the Lower East Side didn't make me shut up, some, nerd with a pen in DC certainly isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
If anything,
nerds with pens. I'm sorry.
I
I
mean,
love that.
and they're like the evil nerds. I'm the good nerds with pens.
Right?
We will win.
There you go.
No, like that's my mission. I will out nerd them.
I love that. There's this there's this persona that we like form, I feel, as queer people, which is this shield. But that authenticity that you just shared is so true. You didn't break me then, you're not breaking me now. We're gonna show up, we're gonna use our platforms. And you're talking about some of the bravest and boldest people in the space, yourself included, using platforms like this, Sesame Street, television. We're here. We're going to share stories and we're going to just continue to show up. It's so powerful to hear you talk like that. And speaking of spaces where a presentation like this matters, we have to talk about Sesame Street now, right? Because you started to line up. Spending many years working on some of the most iconic characters, some of my favorite. I have to ask, for a lot of queer kids growing up, creating these safe havens, what are some of your hopes for the future with children programming? It seems like it's either being attacked right now, or some of the storylines are just false narratives to some degree about how gay people and children show up in the same sort of narrative. Can you help shine some light, some perspective on that for us as well?
Sure. I think for me, one of the most important things is that I know that a lot of my colleagues, a lot of people in the industry are feeling hamstrung. A lot of them have lost their funding. They've lost their resources. Projects have gotten shelved. Hopefully not forever. Hopefully those things come back. We do have a lot of champions. We have a lot of people in our corner. Because outside of Sesame Street, I have a lot of colleagues that work on other projects for PBS. And PBS is such a bastion for, true education, true information. It's not just cotton candy entertainment like what you see on networks, which serves its purpose. And that's great. I mean, who doesn't love entertainment? I'm binging shows left and right. Doesn't always have to be, the vegetables of the meal.
Right. That's funny.
But sometimes, you need to have a place you can go where what you're getting into, and you know you can rely on it to do the heavy lifting and to take on the hard topics. And it's been really wonderful. Like, I know Sesame Street has done specifically a very good job with like initiatives like Sesame Street in communities, which if you go to their website, you go to the Sesame Workshop website, you can access all of these uh, resources for families, for teachers, for parents, for kids to address even harder topics than what you'll see on the show. So for instance, things like food insecurity, homelessness, incarcerated parents, divorce, like very heavy topics. And my personal hope is that the struggles that our community face that are unique to us, or that maybe it's not even so much that they're unique to us, it's that they're human experiences that we get kind of cut out of or glossed over, or kind of like, oh yeah, and them too, I guess. I would like to see more centering of those experiences and acknowledgement of those experiences in all media, obviously. And I think that it's possible. And I think that like in children's media, it's a unique opportunity to like do it more joyfully and to really focus on the humanity and the heart of like, hey guys, we're just people. Like, sorry to be boring, but we're just humans at the end of the day that are, doing all the same stuff you do. We made our coffee. We didn't do the laundry. We forgot to put the trash out this week. We're just normal people trying to make it too. And our families are just normal families trying to make it too, you know. But also there are things that are unique about us. And, I love that you talk about, as part of your community here, our found family. And one of the pieces that I actually got to work on with Sesame a while back was, I'm trying to make sure I get the exact name of it right. I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess it up. Because I
We
always
do
like,
the same all the
I
time.
jumble the words every time, and now I can't find it.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. So there's this song that we made with an accompanied video called Love Makes a Family. And I was able to advise on that from its inception all the way through and give notes on the visuals, give notes on the lyrics. And it was a whole bunch of us that were involved. And one of my coworkers who's a trans person. And it wasn't just this kind of throwaway, oh, we'll do something. Like, people cared. Everyone in that room cared. Everybody from VPs, producers, every hand that was in that pot was invested in making the best possible thing they could that could celebrate families. And the point of it is showing how found family functions and how different a family can look, and it still is a family. It's like my nieces, I have some nieces that are not blood relatives to me, but they are my nieces.
Yeah.
And I am their auntie, and that just is, and I have people that I've met throughout my life that I call my brother, my sister, my kid, even though I've never had kids. But there are people I helped raise, and like, I'm sure you're well aware of the sad burden of teaching queer history every Pride Month. It feels like on rotation is like Gen X became elders before we were elders because so many of us died because of Reagan and the AIDS crisis. So you have a bunch of aunties and grandmas that are still young because we lost so many people and we were already a tiny generation, and so to be able to highlight our place in this beautiful family that we do have is so important, and finding joy in that and not just the sadness in our remembrance, not just, like that heart pulling on those heartstrings when we think of the people we've lost and we think back to like what the clubs looked like in the 90s and then how it changed by the end of the 90s. Like that, if you were there and you lived through it and you saw it happen, you have this unique perspective that you could give into despair or you can let it propel you into joy.
Yep.
And I am going to be fucking joyful. God damn it. Like that's,
Yeah.
I will be aggressively joyful.
I think that part. It's so beautifully said. I always say you can all cut us open and we all bleed bread. Like we're all human, no matter who you're going to bed with. So I don't know why it's such a big deal, but
Exactly.
everything you said is true, and we just need to keep fighting. So well said. But Jen, we need the gossip too.
Yeah.
Like a peek behind the curtain. What was like an absolute most chaotic, fun memory working on the Muppets on Sesame Street? Give us a little tea.
Okay. There are so many.
I'm sure.
What's living rent free in your mind?
Yes.
Okay. So I tried to like whittle down some of like my magic moments to be like,
Yeah.
okay, what's the vibe? What flavor of magic are we going with?
Okay.
So I have a couple of very like I have a cute, and then I have like a high intensity day. Like
Done.
Give us both.
okay. So high intensity day that was like the most fun, the most chaotic was one of the times that I was fortunate, and I was fortunate enough that I was there for more than one time of this. But when Michelle Obama and Dr. Jill came to visit, and when the first lady and the second lady go anywhere, it is a production.
I bet.
So the lead up to it, you've got the Secret Service is running background checks on everyone. Everyone has to have like at the studio, especially at Sesame, like it very much kind of feels like a second home. So everyone's very relaxed. Not when they're there. You got to wear your identification. It has to be clear. Everyone needs to know what their jobs are. Like no messing around, no just hanging out on set. None of that.
Yeah.
So where my office was in the studio at this point,
Her
was
office,
like,
guys. She dropped that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. A boss.
So it had wind. It was like, it was weird. It was like an internal room in the studio is like this maze that was built 100 years ago. It's a lot. But I had windows looking down over this other stage and other production, like construction area. And it has doors that open out to the street. So normally there would be another show down there, carpenters, builders, whatever, doing their thing. At this point, it was vacant. So when the first lady and second lady come, their entire motorcade pulled into that area. And we're just up in the office like, okay, we probably shouldn't peek out there because a sniper's going to like take us out or something because they don't realize there's a window here. And it's like, we're like holding up Muppets. Like we belong here. Here's Elmo. And so they all pull in, they all come in, they set up, everyone says hello, whatever, everything's fine. I'm sitting there, I'm at my post in case any changes come through, you got to be ready to move. I get script changes and we only have them for a very limited window of time. It's not like there's flexibility like on a normal day. So I do the changes, get them out. And normally you would just have like a PA or somebody physically run something like that to the set. You can't today because of Secret Service. Only people that have been cleared are allowed in certain areas. And it's this guy. So I'm like, okay, I got my badge. I got the pages. I got everything. And I take off running. Get to the elevator. Get upstairs. And there's this long hallway. And at the end of it is the little door I need to take to get into the back of the set. So you don't just like burst into a scene or, because the big doors are closed. It's a little back room. And I'm barreling down the hallway, and all of a sudden, this like wall of suits with earpieces. She's like, ma'am, we need you to. I'm like, but it's an emergency. I have to get. And my walkie's going off, and people are yelling at me to be like, we need the pages on that. I'm like, but the Secret Service won't let me. They won't let me through. And so I'm trying to explain to them who I am, and that I in fact am allowed to be there. Show them my identification. They finally let me go through. It's fine. We get there. I get to hand things to Michelle Obama. I get to bask in her glory.
Epic. Yeah.
It was wonderful. And then we made because the Secret Service also, like, they're very serious business, but when they're off duty or have a break, they were all like little kids, very excited to be there. And our head writer at the time made up this a troop of sheep with the headsets and the suits. So sheep Muppets, and they're called the Sheeprit Service.
So great.
And we had pins made and we gave some to them. So I have one somewhere in my house, the little Sheeprit Service official badge. It was very, very cute.
So on brand.
Epic, epic.
Yeah. Yep. So that was our big, exciting chaos day.
We had one of Michelle Obama's Secret Service.
We did actually. On
Corey
our podcast.
Allen was on our podcast. Yeah. So I wonder if
See?
he was
That's
there
so
that
cool.
day. I know.
Oh,
John
magic.
and I are creating 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and we're Kevin Bacon.
Yes. I love it.
That's
The
funny.
network.
Okay. Now, what's the? That's amazing. I love Sheeprit
Okay.
Service, and now I will have to hear the other one because
Okay.
if it was as good as that one, then I'm in.
So my cuter one, and again, I had to whittle down many
Whittle.
wonderful, wonderful stories. So you may or may not have seen when he visited recently, and they brought out a picture and everything. So Michael B. Jordan grew up on Sesame Street because his brother was a regular. So his brother was on the show all the time, and Michael was younger, and so he was just always there with their mom. And would spend a lot of time with the child talent coordinator, who is my friend Teresa. And so they would all be together all the time. He was there constantly, just like, fixture, sweet kid, hanging out with the other child actors that would come in for like a day or whatever. And so at one point, little baby Michael B. Jordan wrote a love letter to Teresa. I was like, girl, if you still had that, are you kidding me? The
so cute,
sweetest. And he was just, of course, as cute as can be.
Yeah.
And then he recently came back to visit as adult, Oscar Michael B. Jordan. And they had found a photo of him on one of the times where he actually sat in on set on camera with the other kids. And you could see, it's just, it was precious. So that's our cute story. I was not there yet for baby Michael B. Jordan, but I was there for adult grown-up Michael B. Jordan.
I love it. I'm picturing like Muppet Babies versus Muppets,
Right?
Oh, such a good show.
Cute. Yeah.
Well, Jen, we have loved doing the deep dive with you, but as you know, we have our tradition, this or that. So we are going to switch gears and play our game, but we're calling this one, This or That, the 2 Truths and a Lie edition.
Yay!
It's time for another round of This or That, the unhinged get-to-know-you game.
So no overthinking, just the first thing that hits your spirit. I am first. Okay. Do you prefer a glitzy charity gala or a gritty dive bar with friends?
Dive bar with friends.
Yeah.
Same. I like
It's
the
a
gala. We had a
lot.
great time, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot. There's foundational garments involved. Come on.
John loved your dress, Jen. He has talked
Thank
about that.
you.
He's talked about the dress more than you.
Oh, I've talked about both, but I was trying to tell Brian that is chartreuse. I was like, that is
Yes.
true chartreuse. Like nobody knows. I'm glad you see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was so excited about my chartreuse.
It was beautiful. It was like chartreuse brocade. Was that a brocade dress?
No, it was like there was like a mesh overlay, but the way that it was done, it gave it that texture on the top.
It was awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
John loved it.
Now, I didn't get to look, but were you wearing heels or sneakers underneath? And do you prefer to wear heels or sneakers?
Twist. I was wearing glittery, sparkly Doc Martens.
Oh, you know what? That's right. I do remember this because we commented on them.
Yes.
Oh, of course you
Yeah,
did.
you know what? I'm 48 years old. I'm not wearing heels. I'm
Yeah.
retired. I'm retired from heels.
Same.
When I went to when I went to the Emmys, I wore, so the Emmys were it was a two different night event. And then the night number 1, I had committed because the heels I got were real cute and went with the dress situation. And then the second night I was like, nah, man. And I wore,
Not worth it.
I wore Docs, and luckily it was a floor length mermaid situation. Nobody knew. What do they know? Who's going to know?
Nobody cares.
Mm-mm.
Okay, putting your Sesame Street hat on, would you rather be trapped in an elevator with Bert and Ernie or a 14-hour road trip with Grover?
God. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Oh, no. Okay, I got to go elevator. I got to go elevator because those are my boys. I feel like we would like find a groove. Bert and I could team up to be like, Ernie, you need to relax.
Yeah.
But if I'm trapped for 14 hours with Grover, I'm probably going to lose my mind. I
True.
love him. But that's 14-hour road
It's a
trip.
long drive.
You got to love that person.
I feel like Rover is the reason why Adderall exists.
Yeah. My boy's got a lot of energy.
He really does. Keeping up with the Sesame Street energy, would you rather live in Oscar the Grouch's trash can, of course, rent-free in New York City, or share a studio apartment with the Count?
Oscar
Mm,
all
okay.
day. And part of the reason is my own lore. So years ago, I pitched a Oscar show to the show. It was part of this like internal contest that they were doing, and I ended up winning the contest. They loved my idea. They did not make it be a show, unfortunately. But my whole thing is like, I've always been obsessed with Oscar ever since I was a little kid. Like, because he's kind of a grouch, and again, from Boston.
Yep.
And Gen X, which I feel like he is just, he's kind of our patron saint. But in my imagination, and backed up by some of the show lore, his can is like a TARDIS. Like, it is a bottomless, it is limitless. There's an elephant named Fluffy that lives down there. There's a swimming pool. Like, we know certain things. But in my imagination, I had developed this entire world down there, this entire mansion with all these crazy things. And so I would find my own library. I had designed like one area that had like a solarium that had, light from, those glass bricks in the sidewalk that you see around the city. It was under one of those. So great light and growing all kinds of stuff. Come on. You can't do better than that.
Oh my gosh. It's like the modern day Mary Poppins bag. Oscar
Yes,
trash can.
Exactly. There's something for everyone.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer radical, blunt honesty or polite little white lie?
What do you think?
I don't know. I go back and forth on this one, to be honest.
A.
I am blunt,
Option
but
A.
for me, it depends on the person, I think.
Oh, yeah. See, for me, I only have one setting, unfortunately. And it's the first one. And also, even if I try the second one, my face gives me away because I refuse. I need to be able to emote, so I'll never do like Botox. No shade to anyone that does.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
We're not there yet.
But I need to be able to judge. I want people to know. So even if I'm silent, my face is speaking.
Yeah.
Which has gotten me in trouble many times.
Same. Okay,
it's
Jen.
a problem.
It's a problem. Okay, well, this is the last one. I think you'll be able to bring it home. I'm actually really curious to hear what you have to say about this. Would you rather be remembered for the incredible art you made or how deeply you loved your community?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to hate me. Hate me.
Never.
Because it's a trick answer. Because it's both.
It's this and that.
That's okay. We know. We get that.
It's both because the art that I make is my homage to the love that I have in my community, and one cannot exist without the other. And that love of my community is what feeds the drive to feel like I need to make something that anyone ever sees. Because otherwise I would just do it for myself and feel perfectly fine and, have a desk job or garden all day, whatever. I would never put anything out because I wouldn't have a mission. I wouldn't have a calling. I wouldn't have this like drive to like, I have something to say and I have to say it for this group of people and you will listen to me.
Yeah.
So that is my answer.
Well put and perfect.
She's a boss, folks. Don't put her in a corner.
Nope.
She will get out of it. Jen, you passed with flying colors, and we knew this already, but you are an absolute joy. So thank you for being such a bright light, making us laugh, and for being now part of our chosen family.
Yay!
Yeah. Seriously, you're incredible. Where can our listeners go follow your TikTok and read your lore, keep up with everything you're directing and creating?
Sure. So my TikTok, you can find me by my first name, which is very convenient. So if you look up Jen Capra anywhere on the internet, I have my own website, jencapra.com, which is a good landing spot for all the links to all the things. But you can find me on TikTok. That's where most of my content really lives. Though I have been enjoying Threads a great deal. It's kind of like a little it is very much a Kiki situation. And I'm into that right now. And then I am also, this, I don't know when it'll come out, but I'm writing a book that is so it has a queer teenager hero, and the story does not revolve around tragedy happening to queer people. Oh, imagine that. It's just a good story where your hero happens to be a gay kid, and she is magical. She finds out she's the descendant of Mary Shelley, and that Mary Shelley, maybe when she was writing Frankenstein, it wasn't just all kind of science fiction made up. Maybe she really knew some stuff about monsters.
Cute.
Who knows?
Love.
Yeah. So basically it's like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a little bit of Widow's Bay situation. We love to see it. So I'm going to get it finished, and then my editor can have it, and then hopefully the world can have it. And I'm very excited about it.
And you will come back on and talk about it. So we are
hell
excited
yeah.
for that. Well, Chosen fam, make sure you follow Jen immediately. We love her. Now you guys all love her. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember to stay authentic, stay loud, and keep laughing.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.
And now stick around to watch the highlight reel from Outright International's 2026 Celebration of Courage Awards Gala.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. We need you.
It is a precarious time right now for LGBTQIA plus people all over the globe, but we can get through this with each other. And just thank you outright for just being there.